Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel where today we're going to be going to do my week 6 NFL power rankings after some wild football. Some teams have definitely surprised so far this year, and others, well, they have been disappointments now that we're kind of at the third way through the season. We have our usual tiers here. We have Super Bowl contenders, division contenders, wild card teams, teams are just kind of meh, and teams that are bad. But before we get started, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your subscriptions will mean the world to me, trying to get this thing growing, so every little bit helps. But let's go on and get started with our first team on the list, the Arizona Cardinals, who just came off of an upset win over the San Francisco 49ers. And my dog found a squeaky toy, so there's going to be some squeaks in the background. Arizona, even though they had a blocked field goal that happened against them that was returned for a touchdown, able to first turnovers late against Stanford, including an interception by Brock Purdy to end the game to win 24-23. It was a close game, but compared to the last 2 weeks where this team looked very lost, this was more the team that played hard against Buffalo and whomped the Rams. So they're moving up from bad to meh. Still don't think they're going to be a playoff contending team yet, but definitely better than what we've seen the past few weeks. Next up, we have the Atlanta Falcons, who at 3-2, I'm moving all the way up to division after their overtime win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Thursday Night Football last week. That head-to-head is big for me. Offense was fantastic. Kirk Cousins first to throw over 500 yards this season. He played fantastic. The defense definitely was shaky, giving up quite a few points to Baker Mayfield and company in Tampa Bay, but if this offense is humming like this is one of the best teams in the division, and right now, they have that head-to-head over the Buccaneers for that. A team that I'm moving up all the way to Super Bowl contender, Baltimore. They took a Bengals team who, while the record's been disappointing, has been better of late. And the offense of the Ravens looked fantastic. You can't stop that combination of Lamar and Derrick Henry when they're both firing on all cylinders like that. I mean, Lamar, every time he is in Cincinnati, he does some crazy stuff that almost no one else can do in the league. Was fantastic. One of his best passing performances in his career. Was able to escape the pocket a lot and pretty much able to dominate the Bengals. I mean, these past few weeks, this Ravens team has looked like the team we thought we were going to get. So, very impressed with Baltimore from last week. My friends from Cincinnati did not care for that too much. Moving on down to division is Buffalo. Buffalo. Second straight week when they had to face a real contender, they looked bad. And there's not much else to say. I mean, they're kind of close there in the end, but Josh Allen was wildly inaccurate, 9 for 30. Couldn't really do much on offense, and they allowed the Texans to just take that game from them. So, Buffalo down in division. You had hope for a week, Carolina. You had hope for a week. But the Bears kind of showed you why you are one of the worst teams in football. Because even though the Bears, who I think is a mediocre roster, absolutely dominated you. And yeah, no question about that. You guys are one of the worst teams. I won't say you are the worst because you at least get some offense going, but yeah, you are a bad team. Chicago. I'm going to put you here in wild card. Because even though this team did only beat the Panthers and move to a winning record, that was the most impressive Caleb Williams has looked all season. So, you're on the lower end of wild card, but you got a winning record. The defense is playing well, and the offense seems like it's getting it together a little bit here. But you did only just beat the Panthers. You beat the Titans. Not really the greatest, and the Rams. So, not the greatest of competition. So, if you guys can have a good offensive performance against a good team, I'll have more faith in you. But right now, I mean, Caleb is looking better. And that is all you want from the season is see Caleb Williams just look comfortable as an NFL quarterback. And last week he was. Can he keep that going? That is your biggest question. Next up, we have the Cincinnati Bengals, who their record is 1-4, but I'm moving them up to the mid tier because that offensive performance against the Ravens gives this team a lot more hope heading into the rest of the year. What doesn't give them hope is that defense, who absolutely fell apart. And key mistakes on offense late in that game really doomed them from a key statement win because the Bengals should have won this game. But then Joe Burrow threw a pick. Special teams missed a field goal. Bad play calling kind of led to that long field goal attempt. And the defense just let Lamar do whatever they wanted to them. So, yeah, bad for the Bengals. For the Bengals. The offense is saving your butts. Speaking of bad, Cleveland. Before the year, a loss to Washington would have been terrible. But it is a better loss. But what isn't great is that this team looks like it's giving up. I got a feeling that a lot of players are really upset with the organization keeping Deshaun Watson as their starter because they're not winning anything with him. The defense has not looked as good. They just don't look good. The parts that are supposed to be good are not because I think Deshaun is just sucking the life out of his franchise. They have to move on from him. He cannot play quarterback at an NFL level. He just can't. So until they move on, they're going to be one of the bottom 5 teams in the league. So, yeah. Bad. Dallas. Staying in wild card. Wasn't the most impressive performance against the Steelers, but considering the Steelers' game plan of making you play down into their level with defense, messiness, turnovers, and that being a rain-soaked field, coming away with a victory, even though they need a late touchdown from Dak to do so, is big. Especially with all their pieces they're missing on defense. The offense was okay. Dak did have like 3 turnovers and gave my wife a heart attack in our fantasy matchup this week. She still ended up winning because Dak threw that late touchdown. But, yeah. I am concerned about the Cowboys, but right now they're keeping pace with the rest of the NFC. But do I believe this team in the playoffs? I do not. No, I don't. Also, going to wild card, Denver. Another impressive performance where this Vance Joseph-led defense kind of led the way for the Broncos and made the offense not really have to do too much. Kept it simple for Bo Nix. He was able to get 3 touchdowns on the day, and the Broncos had 3 interceptions, including a pick 6 by Pat Surtain. Yeah, the Broncos looked very, very good, so good on you, Denver. Good on you. Staying up here in Super Bowl contender tier, Detroit. They're on bye week this week, so not really much else to say here, but they're going to have a couple of fun games here in the next couple of weeks. But I do believe that the Lions are one of the best teams in football right now, and I think they'll be in there in January, so they're definitely in my personal top 5. So up there in Super Bowl. Green Bay, wild card. It was closer than I would have liked. Go into more detail on that in my video yesterday detailing the Packers win over the Rams, but defense was solid. Did not give up too many points. Gave up the 2 touchdowns, excluding the pick 6, of course. Had key turnovers done by Xavier McKinney and a forced fumble. Still need to get pressure. That is the biggest concern. And the offense needs to be more consistent. Jordan needs to be more consistent. But do I have faith in this team will recover from a slow start? Yes, I do. Because I saw it last year. And we're at a better spot than we were 5 weeks in than we were last season. So, yeah, I think Green Bay will be fine. Definitely there will be a wild card team, though, because the NFC North is brutal this year. It's a possibility all 4 teams can make it, but highly doubt that. Next up, we have the Houston Texans, who I'm still kind of keeping down here in division tier because I don't think they have that quite at that level to be a Super Bowl contending team yet. They're very, very close. They're one of the best teams in football, but they don't quite have that next gear that like Detroit, Baltimore, and eventually Kansas City have. But they're still a really, really darn good team. They just beat the Buffalo Bills in a closer game. CJ kind of looked rough in that fourth quarter, letting Buffalo sneak back in there a little bit, but able to get that victory. And they just continue leading probably the worst division of football right now. So up there for the Texans. The Colts, yeah, it's not great that, I mean, it was great that they were competitive against the Jaguars, kept it close, but they still lost to a previously winless team. Joe Flacco looks better than Anthony Richardson, which is to be expected as Flacco is a seasoned vet, but not so great when he makes that offense look so much better than what Richardson is doing. It gives you very much concern for Anthony Richardson. Jonathan Taylor is also out this week, so hopefully he can get back and get this offense rolling again, but yeah, not looking too great at Indy and also not looking too great for Jacksonville, but they did pick up their first win on the year. Trevor Lawrence finally looked like a professional quarterback there for this season, but still not looking great at all for Jacksonville, so they're staying down in the bad tier. Next up is Kansas City Chiefs. They stay number one in my power rankings. As long as they're unbeaten and no one really has challenged them, it was a kind of a sloppy win against the Saints, but a win's a win. 5-0. Reed Mahomes. We all know the story. Don't need to spend too much time on them. Chargers. Meh. They're on bye week this week. Hopefully they're going to try to get some guys healthy, especially along their offensive line. But let's see what they're able to do after their bye week, because I'm intrigued by how Harbaugh is leading this team. I think he has them heading in the right direction, but yeah, let's wait and see. Rams. I'm going to put you here in meh. Even though you're 1-4, you're a competitive team. They hung tough with the Packers, forced the Packers to make some mistakes. Stafford almost led a game-winning drive. This team is just wrecked by injuries. They're going to get guys healthy here soon. They might be able to challenge for a wild card spot, but I don't know. They dug themselves quite a hole already, but right now they're in meh. Going down to bad, the Raiders. Even though they have 2 wins, they looked like utter garbage last week against the Broncos. That Broncos defense absolutely ate them up. Still no Devontae Adams. Working on a trade for him. I don't know where he's going to go. So, yeah. Raiders, they're definitely a bad team right now. They don't have a quarterback. But Brock Bowers does look pretty solid for a tight end. So, excited to see how he develops. So, yeah. Another team that's bad, who picked up their second win on the year. Actually, I'm putting it down here because I don't think you could be any of these teams right now. Second win of the year against the equally bad, if not worse, Patriots team. That, yeah, it is. Miami needs Tua back badly, but he might be able to come off IR here in a couple weeks. But until then, this team looks terrible. So, yeah. They're down there in bad. Minnesota, staying up here in Super Bowl contender, staying in third for me because I do think the Ravens and Chiefs will be able to beat them in a game right now. But 5-0. This is the first game they kind of looked mortal a bit. The reason why they won is because that defense forced 3 Aaron Rodgers turnovers, which that is very, very impressive. But the offense did not look that great. Aaron Jones, as we all thought he might heading into the year, got injured again. Hopefully, I hope it's not a long-term issue because I love Aaron Jones and he's also on my fantasy team, so I need him back healthy. But heading into our bye week, they're 5-0. Sam Darnold still looks solid. Did have his worst game against the Jets. But again, that Jets defense is really, really solid. But 5-0, best team in the NFC. They're staying up there in Super Bowl tier, so good on you, Minnesota. I can't believe I just said that. I'm sorry, Packer Nation. New England. Yeah, they're down here in the bad tier. They're the worst team in football around. They just lost to the Dolphins. The Dolphins they lost to. Yeah, I don't think sitting Drake May is going to be doing any favors to this team right now. Just put him in there and see what he got. Jacoby Brissett's not doing anything. So, yeah, Patriots down there in bad. Moving down to meh. Saints. After that hot start to the year where they scored 40-plus points in each game, they've lost 3 straight. Just lost to the Chiefs. They did play them tough, so I will give them credit for that. But, yeah, this team is not looking great right now. So they're moving down here in meh. They're falling down the power rankings. Giants, moving up to meh. impressive win against the Seattle Seahawks. It was a close one. They needed a block field goal return for touchdown to do it, but they took down a pretty strong team there in Seattle. And I gotta give them respect. They played at the Cowboys tough the week before. They won against Seattle. This team is scrappy. Kind of like when they made the playoffs a couple years ago. Brian Daboll is looking like that coach of the year again. Daniel Jones does not look absolutely horrendous. So, Giants are up there in meh. Another team in meh, and yeah, they're down in the bottom of meh because we have no idea what this team is going to be because they literally just fired a coach, Robert Saleh, which I am very, very confused about because it wasn't his area that messed his team up. It was the offense, which is led by Nathaniel Hackett, who came here because of Rodgers. And there's a bunch of rumors going on right now about Saleh that he wanted to try to fire Hackett, but Rodgers did not want that, so they fired Saleh. This team is a mess. The defense is doing its part. It is. But this offense is out of sync. Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers have no chemistry whatsoever. Rodgers has looked washed. Every time this team plays offense, I cringe. They should not be this bad. On paper, they should not be this bad on offense, but they are. And every day it makes the Packers' decision to trade away Rodgers look that much better. I'm just saying. Although Will McDonald has been very good for them. So, again, the defense is not the issue. It is that offense, and they do not look great. Next up, Philadelphia. In wild card still. They were on bye week this week, I believe. I don't remember. On paper, they're still a strong team, but they need to figure out this offense and fast because other teams are going to sneak up behind them and snatch it away. So, yeah. Pittsburgh. In wild card still to 3-2. Lost a tough game against the Cowboys. Defense is doing his part. Offense, they need to figure something out, man. Justin Fields is not the answer. Russell Wilson probably ain't the answer either. They need a quarterback bad. So, but we all know them. They're going to be 9-8 at the end of the year to keep Tomlin's above 500 record alive. And yeah, this team is not good. But they're still a wild card for now. Guess you're up here by default because the rest of the division surprisingly is butt cheeks right now. Yeah, Seattle is in division. I don't think they deserve to be there. They just lost to the Derp in New York. But they still have the best record in football. They're in their division. They 2 weeks away from competing heavily with the Lions. This team is better than this, so I'm giving them the benefit of doubt this week, but man, that loss stings. Team that's in wild card. San Fran. Yeah, that was kind of an ugly loss to the Cardinals. This team should not have lost to the Cardinals that bad at all. And to do it in a way where you basically self-imploded is not great. So right now, San Francisco is in wild card tier. Healthy, this team's a Super Bowl contender. But right now, they're not healthy and they have not shown on the field that they are that world-beating team. So, wild card for now. Not a team in wild card, but more higher end, Tampa Bay. Hard-fought game against the Falcons. Baker Mayfield has looked the part for the Buccaneers. This team will be down there in the end. The defense surprisingly did not play that well against Atlanta, but I think that is a fluke. And I think they will be there. Them and Atlanta will be neck and neck for that division for the rest of the season, I believe. So, up there in wild card for now. Bad, Tennessee. I mean, they're on bye week, so I'm going to put them right here. Not much else to say. It'll be interesting to see how Mailman does in this next week. Will he give us another meme? But, yeah, up there and bad. And all the way up here in division, leading the NFC East with a dynamic offense, Washington. Dan Quinn's got to be favored for Coach of the Year right now. Jay Daniels, favorite for Rookie of the Year. This offense has been absolutely insane. They got quite a few good rushes with Eckler, Robinson there. Jaden Daniels as a dual threat with Terry McLaurin. Yeah, this team is dangerous. So, they're up there in division. I cannot believe that is happening right now. So, if you take a look at my tiers, in Super Bowl, I got Kansas City, Baltimore, Minnesota, Detroit. Division is Houston, Washington, Buffalo, Atlanta, Seattle. Wild card is Green Bay, Tampa Bay, Philadelphia, Dallas, San Francisco, Denver, Pittsburgh, Chicago. I have Arizona, LA Chargers, Cincinnati, New Orleans, New York Giants, LA Rams, New York Jets, and bad I got Las Vegas, Jacksonville, Indianapolis, Tennessee, Miami, Cleveland, Carolina, and New England. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Who do you think should be number one in the power rankings? And I'll see you again in the next video. Peace.